What's up guys, welcome back. We've only got around a week left for 2022, so I figured I might as well do a bit of a recap, a 2022 season wrap up. And I'm here with my trophy case thing, trophy shelf with cheap plastic trophies, and I'm with my you can see them over there, with my dogs. So this is Yuki and Yoshi. Hi. Alright, so they're just gonna chill over there, and I'm gonna go over my season. Let's start from the top here. So we started prep in July. Yeah, so I've talked about the aggressive prep strategy that I went through. And after the first 9 weeks, where is that? What did I do first? We did... Shit, this guy is... No, this guy doesn't fit. Here we go. This guy too. Yeah, so that is the first show we did. We did this right after WNBF Philippines, where I had 6 athletes. Yeah, I brought 6 athletes to stage on that day. And the next day, I just kind of felt like, hey, kind of want to do a show today. And we did. This one is the under 70 kg class, and then we won the overall for that. That was really cool because I was not expecting to, 1, do the show, 2, to win the class, and 3, to win an overall. My first overall of the year, the first untested overall I've ever done. So that was a huge first show. And I think that sort of set the tone for the rest of the season. You know, I wasn't very confident coming into the season. I didn't know whether I made the necessary improvements, if I was able to bring up any and all lagging body parts. But this first show proved that, well, I've done my homework. I was able to make the improvements from my past season in 2019. And well, yeah, that was the confidence boost that I needed for the rest of the year. The next show we did, which one were you? Oh yeah, right here. You gotta be it. Yeah, that's it. Ooh, second show, guys. So if you remembered, we did a show in Quezon where we did men's physique because they didn't have a bodybuilding class. Not sure if you guys remember that video. That was where they told me there was no fucking way I was a natural athlete. So they still let me on stage, but they didn't rank me. Got a certificate of participation for that. You know, that sucks. Fuck that. But that was another good confidence boost because, again, I wasn't very confident with how my upper body looked. Just the entire upper body was sort of a lagging area. Doing men's physique, having to handicap myself, hide my legs, you know, that was the goal of that show. I just wanted to see for myself how I would stack up against fellow natural athletes. Fortunately, I was considered not a natural athlete. I think that show was also one of the eye-openers in terms of how I responded to show day. Peak weeks, I didn't peak for this. I just ate during the show, and I saw my response, how it looked, and that was really eye-opening because prior to that, I would have been much more stressed out, much more detail-oriented regarding peak week strategies, show day strategies. This time around, it was just increase my carbs on show day, have sufficient water, sodium, a little bit of potassium. It just made it so much easier for the following shows because I wasn't as worried, and I think you guys can see that in my previous videos as well, that I just wasn't as worried about hey, I'm a little bit flat coming into the show. This is just for me personally, just felt like being able to show up, to come into a show day unpeaked and everything. I knew how to fill myself out right on time for the show. Yeah, second show, men's physique, called a fake natty. And then we moved on to our third show, which was this is probably my one of my favorite. Actually, no, this was probably my favorite look of the season. This was this is it, man. Not sure if you can see it, but this was a muscle contest. Muscle Contest Philippines. So this was another untested show that I did, but this was hands down for me probably the best, or at least my favorite look of the season. This was a lot of fun being able to compete with international athletes, being able to see the standard, being able to see once again how I stacked up against the untested bodybuilders, and I placed second for this one. This was a good look for me. Full, I was hard, I was nice and tight as well, and I think this was, or at least this had a lot to do with stress response to things. I think for some reason, peaking for that show, there was very little pressure on my end. This was again just another test show for me, and it was just easy, like I just wanted to walk in there and have a good time, see how I looked, and I think it showed. I think it was a good look, especially during finals, where it wasn't really finals. They already scored us during prejudging. The finals was just an awarding, but I felt like for that second appearance, I managed to bump a lot more. And that's also something I learned from the show, was that I really just I kind of prefer going easy on pumping up in general, because when I get on stage and when I have to pose for what, like 20-30 minutes, it gets tough. I can and I will flatten out if I pose for too long, and if that comes off after a long, good, solid pump. So what I've learned here was that if for a show like this, we didn't really have a lot of time on stage. It was like 15 minutes maybe. For the prejudging, I felt like I could have bumped up a little more. But for finals, for the awarding, just got like a quick posing routine in there. Probably hands down my favorite look. And then after that, I wouldn't say it went south, but things did go a bit less predictable. So for the first three shows, it was super easy on my end, just cruising into the shows, doing it one week after the other. And then I got COVID, and then I had to isolate for a week. So I did say this was sort of my forced deload, my forced diet break, and it did the trick. It got me much less fatigued, and for the first few days of resting, I do think I look really fresh. The thing is, after that, it was a bit of a struggle for me to get back into my usual routine. After the whole COVID isolation thing, mentally, I was just sort of subconsciously panicking, not sure, hey, did I just set myself back by a week so I would end up doing a little bit too much? I don't know, man. It just felt like I wasn't feeling as good during my sessions, at least for the first week. But this was kind of normal, I guess. When you're going through a deload, you really go through like 1 week where it's just finding it again. It just so happened that I was a bit more worried about how I was looking, how I was progressing. So I kind of like did a bit of panic mode there. But I did manage to catch up nicely. Although I'm not sure what it was, but after that I just didn't look the same. Again, coming off of muscle contest where I knew how I looked, like it was just full and tight. After that, I don't know, I just didn't look as tight, especially in my midsection. I'm still trying to figure this out until now. It's a bit of a mystery. Might have been too much rest. It might have been just me flattening out, or maybe it's like the antibiotics doing something, or it's just COVID itself. Not sure. I just felt like after that, it just didn't look as tight. It just didn't look as constantly full. That was the sort of the little roadblock, that little detour we had to do in the middle of the season, which that was, it came at the right time. You know, I needed that deload. I needed that diet break. Although I could have and probably should have done it on my own, you know, without having to deal with COVID or isolating. But yeah, we got through that, and then we went on to our next show, which was I think like the week or like 2 weeks after that, which was the IFBB Grand Prix, IFBB Elite Pro Grand Prix. So there's a difference. There's a difference there. We did the under, I think it was like under 65 kg class, and we weren't a lot, but the guys I was with on stage were like veterans. You know, I won that class, and then we went on to the overalls, where they gave two out of the three of us like an IFBB Elite Pro card, and I didn't get it. Like I got third. Again, this is obviously it's IFBB Elite Pro, so it's an untested show, and I just wasn't big enough to get that pro card, I guess. I came in more conditioned, but you know, when we're talking IFBB Elite Pro, there's a lot more importance given to the size, given to the actual muscle, given to actually looking like an IFBB Elite Pro bodybuilder. Yeah, that's fine with me. I didn't need that pro card. I wouldn't know what to do with it. And the thing is about that show was that it was just fucking cold. It was just cold, like extremely cold, especially when we were getting our tanning done. And I do think that sort of affected my physique. And we'll go back to this topic later, but I just felt like it was so cold, it was near impossible for me to get a proper pump. That just kind of kept me a little flat, but I felt like I should have looked a lot fuller on stage. And I do think that was because, one, I believe we finished tanning between like 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. and it was too cold, so we kind of had to keep standing up and walking around to stay warm. And that lasted for like 3 hours, so we were just standing in the cold, couldn't stay warm, also couldn't really put our clothes on because the tan wouldn't dry, because I don't know, maybe it was just too cold. And then we couldn't go outside either because it was raining. So that was a weird situation I believe we all had. And then we move on to our fifth show of the season, which was NBA. I got this medal and this medal, and there's a trophy and another trophy, and there's a frame. I don't even want to get it. There's a frame and a frame and another frame here. So what we did there was we got third place in posing routine. Some of the guys had posing routines in there. I didn't even know I was on it. I think somebody made a mistake and thought I was part of it, so they made me do that, and I had to freestyle that shit. Once we did that whole posing thing, I was up, man. I was awake. And then we did classic. No, I did bodybuilding first. Took my class, took the overall, got my pro card. That was a very good look, in my opinion. I think I got a solid pump for that. Nothing really to say. I really love that show, man. NBA might have been like my second favorite look. Yeah, probably my second favorite look. And it was most definitely like my favorite show. NBA is amazing when it comes to production, when it comes to doing something entertaining, when it comes to making your athletes feel like once they step off stage, once they step out of the venue, they feel like, hey, that was worth it, man. It's like I spent to walk on stage in my underwear, but I felt like I got something more out of it. And I feel like, even if I didn't win a pro card, I would have felt the same way. I got more than, I'm sure a lot of people got more than enough stage time. They got some good photos from the official stage photographers there. It was just a great experience. And then after that, after bodybuilding, we did classic, which was my first time. Was it my first time? No, it's not my first time to do classic ever. It's probably like my third time. It's my first time of the year though. And I didn't practice classic or anything really. I actually had a lot of fun. Getting to do poses that you normally don't get to do. It was just nice to see, like when you see the photos, when you see the videos, when you see like, wow, I totally just winged that pose once I got the stage and it actually looked good, and then it carries over. It makes you realize like, okay, I can hit this pose in the next show or in the next season. And again, just that show, that being able to compete with my clients on stage was just, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, we did classic and we won the class as well. We got the overall. And then we did good, man. We did good. And then we had maybe had like 2 weeks from Worlds, which was my last show of the season. Yeah, it was the last show of the 2022 season. So we did Worlds. But before that, before flying out, if you guys have seen the vlog, we had a rough time there. I had like a little bit of a, sort of close to a little breakdown. But we made it out alive and well, and I think we were okay. We did well. We got 5th in the world for lightweight bodybuilding, which again I was expecting to be a bantamweight, but we did end up getting merged together. Had to do lightweights, and then we got 5th place as well in amateur men's physique. Short. Yes, we did that. So we did we did men's physique because I felt like I didn't want to waste my time flying all the way there and to just be done by 10 a.m. So we did 2 categories, both 5th, which was fun. And again, this time at least, in men's physique, I actually got a proper ranking and I wasn't just kicked out, pushed to the side as a fake natty. That was cool. And the only thing I could say is that I felt like I felt like that was my best physique objectively coming into that show. It was definitely the leanest, and I thought that was how I needed to come in for a show of this level, a show of this standard, And I felt like I came in conditioned, like as conditioned as I could have been for this year. Although I do think in the coming years, in the coming seasons, I will have to push a little more, get a little tighter. But the thing about this show was that I felt so, I don't know, like once I was looking at the footage, I just felt kind of off. Even coming into getting onto the show. Well, one, I just didn't have enough glaze. Well, number 2, going back to what I said a while ago about like IFBB Elite Pro Grand Prix, it was too cold, man. It was just, I'm not used to that weather, and I got like a full body wax and everything, and not having a lot of body fat, that was just, it was a lot for me to adjust to, which I should have known, but at the same time I didn't really expect so much. I didn't think it would affect me as much as it did, but it was just it was a lot harder for me to pump up than I expected. And even if we were, well, maybe it was because we started earlier on in the day, and I felt like, well, that was much colder between like 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we were kind of preparing ourselves. It wasn't easy, man. It was hard to pump up. I felt like I couldn't, like the food wasn't coming in at the same pace as it usually does, and that, I guess that sort of did affect my physique. Obviously, I'm still happy with how I look on stage. I just felt like I could have been maybe like actually no, maybe like 3 to 5% better. Better glazed, better pump. I don't think I came in flat. I don't think I came in bursting full. I didn't come in spilled or anything. It just felt like there was an awkward feeling there. But that's it. That was I did what I had to do, and I felt like I brought the best I could have brought given any and all of the circumstances. So I am proud of myself for that. Alright? That is the wrap up of my season. You guys already know what went down. I'm just doing a wrap up for myself so I can remember everything in order. Yeah, because I don't think anyone actually gives a fuck. You guys care? But if you guys are still here now and you guys are, still tuning in, actually watching this stuff, well, thank you guys so much. It was an amazing year. I really appreciate everyone's support. Wow, yeah, from my family, from my friends, from you guys over there on the YouTubes, from the guys on, I don't know, social media. Wow, thank you guys so much for giving me all of that support. You know what? It really did help me get stage. It sounds a bit cheesy, sounds a bit corny to say that, but it really did. I had just the right amount of pressure to keep me going, keep me motivated, so to say, just to make it all the way to the world stage. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for checking out my content. Next year for sure I will be coming up with my usual, more informative, more useful, I don't know if I'll make entertaining content. We'll find out. But if you guys do want to find out, like the video, notification bell, wherever that is. I don't actually do it. Yeah, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.